afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mia Luyando. Today we are in our new book, Peppermint Tea. It just arrived about 15 minutes ago. I wanted to get right to work. Let me zoom out so that you can see it. There it is. I'm really excited about this one. I've decided that for our first project in it, we would maybe start with this one. What I want to do is work on her face today. I want to use some Hangfan markers, and I also want to work on her hair, and I thought we would use some Crayola Swirl Rainbow pencils, but any rainbow pencil will do. If you don't have Crayolas, that's not a problem. Any rainbow pencil, any swirl type pencil or gel pen will do. So I thought that's where we would start. The other thing that I want to work on in this picture is the satin bands, learning how to color satin, the shiny fabric, and we will be working on that with this project. We have quite a bit of satiny ribbon and bows in this, so we will go ahead and get started. I am using number 320. This is Floral White. It's a very pale pink. I like this one just because it's just a blush of color. Let me go ahead and just get started. I'm going to zoom us back in. And I'm just going to go in with small circles. And I kind of do this hurriedly because alcohol markers are famous for streaking. And as I go back and forth, I kind of go back over where I've been before. If you can kind of see, I sort of go back over a little bit where the edge of where I was before, just to kind of make sure it doesn't streak. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but they come with blenders. That's helpful, and we can also go over it with pencil if it's streaky, but usually we get pretty lucky with these. But this is a very soft, fair complexion color. So if you're going for something kind of alabaster or ivory, this is probably a good pick from the batch. I'm just going to give this a nice coat, kind of a base layer. And once it dries, we'll see if we need to go over it again or if we're ready to add a different color. Sure I'm not missing any ears or anything. No, I think I've gotten everything. So let's just wait for that to dry. And as you can tell, it's very subtle. Now the next color I'm going to use is number 317. It is called Cotton Pearl, and it is just a little bit darker, not a lot. But I'm going to go in and add this as a blush color. I'm just going to touch this to the darker contour areas of her cheeks on both sides. And just the darker area around her eyes. I'm also going to add this as a base color to her lips. hopefully it won't dry too dark and we can go back over that with pencils if we need to. So while that is drying, I'm going to grab some Crayola Swirl pencils. And these are a lot of fun. You can get these pretty much wherever Crayolas are sold, and they're fairly inexpensive. I picked this one up for less than $10. You can find them on sale for around $5. Amazon has them right now. I'm going to put them in the link, a link to them in the description below. I think right now they're definitely under $7 on Amazon. So I will add that link in the description. I'm going to choose the color Sunset Luau. Now this has like a lime green, a magenta, a sherbet, kind of a peachy orange, and a yellow. And they're gonna, come out of the end here kind of, randomly, obviously. The colors mix very well together. It's already been kind of pre-selected by Crayola so that you don't have to really worry about the colors not matching or looking good together. I like these colors as well because I thought I would be using for the rest of the picture some different lavenders and kind of fuchsia pinks. So I think that this will be a really good accent color, some good accent colors for her hair. So while her face is still drying and it looks pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and start on her hair. Now when you're doing this, just follow the direction that the hair is growing and trust the pencils. They're random. Sometimes, you're thinking, oh wow, I've had this green for too long. If you feel like you need to change the color, go ahead and turn the pencil. You'll find another color. Remember, you can't go wrong with these. The colors, like I said, are pre-selected to really work well together. Just take long, even strokes and allow the colors to change. Usually when we're working on hair, we'll choose 3 or 4 colors to work into the hair to give it this depth and this ombre effect, to give it lots of different colors, to make it shadowy and glossy. And it takes several different colors, and we have more than one color in our hair. It's just like our eyes. To get a realistic looking eye, we have to add more than one color. So the trick to using rainbow pencils, they're made for children, but is that we already have 3 or 4 colors already built into this pencil. So it saves us a lot of time. Something that's marketed for kids and is, as a rule, fairly inexpensive. We can use it to get this really professional looking result. I love tips and tricks, and this is one of my best ones. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. And just trust the process, let the colors flow. And will definitely come back in with some pastel pinks and greens to work into the shadowy parts over this grayscale. I was hoping the pencil would give me more purple. It's being selfish. There it is. So I want to put lots of lavender in this picture. It took it a second to get around to the purple, didn't it? Okay, so we have that side pretty much done. We'll go over to the other side. And I'm going to turn the book a little just to get a better angle on these curls. And this is a pretty soft pencil. You don't have to really give it a lot of elbow grease to get the colors to go on. It's more about just, you know, kind of keeping that circular motion when you're going in, following the pattern of the hair. So it's not, I guess what I'm saying is it's not a pencil that's going to make you tired when you're using it. It's not something that you have to put a lot of pressure on to get the colors. It's not as soft as, say, a Prisma, but it's definitely not a hard pencil to operate. And we've almost reached the end of the hair. And then as you can see, these colors really come together and make a pretty ombre effect for her hair. It's just like a cotton candy. And that's exactly what we were after, a candy effect. And you can add more colors if you like, or you can continue to work these colors in if you feel like it needs a little bit more here and there. But going back to her face, I think I'm going to go over it with some pencils. And let's see, where are we? We are good on time. So I think I'm going to use some Pandafly pencils. These are charcoal pencils, and I had talked about using these a few days ago, so this is a good opportunity. These are made of chalk, so they are easy to blend, and I will show you how I do it. You can use a cotton bud, or, there are blenders and that sort of thing that are made specifically for charcoal pencils. I use my finger. I'm really fancy, right? I just use my finger. Every now and then I'll use a cotton bud, but as a rule, I just sort of use my hands. I feel like I get better control that way, and I can kind of control where the chalk is going. So I'm going to zoom in here in just a second as soon as I find the pencil that I'm looking for. It's kind of escaping me. There it is. Hold on a second. I've got to... There we go. Okay. So these pencils by Pandafly, they don't have numbers and they don't have names. They just have abbreviations, like this one's P and K, but it's kind of a flesh tone, sort of a fleshy pink. When you go in, let me zoom in just a little bit. When you start to go in with charcoal pencils, they're going to get very crumbly. And for the most part, we don't really like crumbly pencils. We're like, oh no, they're but when we're working with chalk pencils, you want that. That's a good thing. So I'm going to just sort of make my way down, and I'm going to leave that chalk. As you can see, I'm just leaving that chalk there. I don't want excessive amounts of chalk. Just kind of where it crumbles up right around the end of the pencil. I'm just kind of leaving it alone. Now, I'm going to take my finger, and if you're using a cotton, if you don't like to have stuff on your fingers, I totally get it. If you're using a cotton bud or whatever, just very gently, in circular motion, smooth this in, blow away the excess. But you'll see how this just makes a matte finish, and it just looks like a porcelain doll to me. It just has this alabaster finish that is amazing, and it looks just a little, this is almost the identical color of of the marker. So we'll keep going and we'll add some blush color. I just want to show you how to blend them, that it's not hard at all, and it will give you such an even, the markers are going to give you this even finish. If you have streaks, this will completely erase them. You won't see the streaks underneath them. But beyond the smoothness of the marker, this kind of gives you this matte, gossamer, just porcelain flatware, greenware. If you've ever worked with ceramics, that's the kind of finish that you get, like this unfinished, unfired kind of bisque effect. I don't know, it's very pretty. I like it personally, and you just can't see any of the tooth of the pencil or I'm sorry, of the paper. You don't see any of the white or the tooth of the paper when you're done. It's completely covered with pigment. So I'm just going to make my way around and smooth this color in. And where I got out of the lines here, I'm just going to go right over top of that, and as you can see, that's just going to cover that right up. I'm going to smooth that in. And the chalk does spread around. I mean, you can see it on the end of my finger. It's not, you know, it's not terribly messy, but if you're wearing a black t-shirt or something like that, you're definitely going to see the residue. I keep a little hand towel next to me when I'm working with these pencils. It's kind of like working with pan pastels. They're just in a pencil. They're really very clever. I like these. It's kind of, you know, a pan pastel that's been rolled up and put in a pencil so you have better control over it. And I'm going to add just a little to her neck, not a whole lot, because her neck is in the shadows. We'll add a darker color there. Now I'm going to add some blush color, and this is kind of a, you know, sort of a blush plum pink. I'm going to add just a little at the highest part of her cheekbone. And give her some rosy cheeks. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just a touch on her chin. It doesn't take much. Just a little on the tip of her nose. A little on either side of her eye. And I think I'm going to leave her temples as they are. So I'm going to zoom out and let you have a look at what we've got so far, and this is where we are. I'm pretty happy with her right now, so I think that I'll leave it here for today, and tomorrow we will pick up the beginning of the satin in her hat and her necktie, and we'll start on the candy. Okay? If you found this video helpful, I do hope you'll give me a thumbs up. It's so helpful for the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you'll click that button so you'll always know when I have a new video. If you haven't already joined my Badass Art group over on Facebook, I'll put a link in the description below. Please come over, join my club. I'd love to see your badass artwork. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow.